Yeah, boy, it's July 27th and it's episode 238, and this is the Fantasy Football Auctioneer Podcast. The Fantasy Football Auctioneer Podcast is the official podcast of the fantasyfootballauction.com, the first website dedicated to fantasy football auctions. We've got a great show for you tonight. Tonight, you are going to get an exclusive demo of the brand new Fantasy Auction Draft Simulator. You're going to see how fast and realistic the simulator lets you practice against bots that draft like real people, including myself, Uncle Buckets, and Mr. Blistr himself. You'll learn how actionable feedback helps you improve your auction draft skills in just about 30 minutes. And you'll discover why the draft sniper is a game changer for novice and casual auction drafters looking to up their game. And if you're a veteran drafter, let me tell you, I've been using it quite a bit, and I feel like I'm a better drafter already for having just run through the prototypes. So let's take a look at the draft, the fantasy auction sniper. Just going to share my screen here. This is a video cast and a podcast at the same time, so I'm going to try to be descriptive through my audio. So first thing it asks is here, this is first, before we get started, this is a prototype. The numbers of the AAVs are a little bit off, but you're going to see exactly how the bots react and how the simulator itself helps you to learn to be a better drafter. So ignore the names, ignore the numbers for the most part, because it's an older set of auction values that this particular simulator is running on right now. But when this is released on August 1st, you're going to have the auction values all linked exactly to our sheets. So it'll run from the tiers and the AAVs from our sheets from the fantasyfootballauction.com. So you can set up your auction draft however you like. You can customize it as custom as you want. If you want to make it like the Scott Fishbowl rosters and have 9 flex positions, 2 of them super flex, you can do that. Or you can simply just go Yahoo standard, PPR, and guess what it's going to do? It's just going to pull that right from Yahoo. And there you go. There's your roster spots: 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex. Right now, we're going to ignore the kickers and the defenses because they're just $1 anyways, and 6 bench spots. Okay. So next, I want to say, how many people are in your draft? Is there 8? Is there 16? You put how many people are in your draft. I'm going to do 12 because we're using a Yahoo standard. So here's the bots we're going to be drafting against. Conservative Carla. Guess what she is? Conservative. Risky Ricky. Guess what he is? Risky. Balanced Ben runs a balanced lineup. Wildcard Wendy, you have no idea what she's doing. Uncle Buckets and Mr. Blistr are in this draft. Clueless Casey is in this draft. She doesn't have a sniff about what's going on. Silent Seth, he's like the silent killer. Trendy Trevor, he goes for, the real trendy names, obviously. Overkill Olivia, she's not afraid to overpay. And Psycho Pete, you just never know what he's going to do. Okay. So I'm going to start with the nominations. Let's go Lamar Jackson. All right. His AAV is $29 according to the spreadsheet that this one's reading right now. And this is the type of things that's going to show you here. So he's a quarterback, is what his AAV is, and how much do you want to nominate him for? I'm going to open the bid at $1. Let's see what the bids bots do. So quickly, all the way up to $27 from Silent Seth. Okay. So a quick move from him. I'm going to pass at $27. So Seth wins him for $27. And it gives a nice, funny little comments here too. He just nodded silently, scribbled something down into his draft notebook. You have $200 at 15 roster spots, $13 per player. Let's let the bot nominate next. And away we go. Conservative Carla, Najee Harris starts it at $3. So I am going to go to $4 for that for sure. Because why wouldn't I? Right? And Mr. Blistr to $10. He's currently at $10. Najee Harris, I'm going to pass on him. Blister's got him at 10 right now. Blistr wins him. He didn't he didn't even blink. He just clicked and moved on, it says about Blistr. So I still have all my roster and all my budget money. Here comes McCaffrey. This is from Risky Rick. He opens the bidding at $45. Yeah, I'll go 46 on McCaffrey. Let's see what happens. Boom. The bidding is now jumped up. Overkill Olivia's right at $61. What do I want to do here? I think I'm going to pass at 61. Let's see what the bots do. And Killer Olivia, she wins it. She says, worth every dollar, as she mutters, already eyeing the next firework. So Balance Ben puts out T. Higgins for $8. I'll do 9 on T. How did the bots respond? Trendy Trevor, he bid it right up to $17. Now I can scroll back and take a look. His AAV is $17. How badly do I want him at 17? Let's go for 18, see what happens. The bots reassess, pass. I won T. Higgins for $18, so it breaks down my budget there. I spent 18 on T. Higgins. I have 182 left, 14 roster spots, $13 per player. Wild card Wendy goes in at an opening bid of Taysom Hill. I'm going to pass for $1 even for Taysom Hill. And Auto Draft Andy picks him up for $3. Next up, Uncle Buckets, the bot, nominates CeeDee Lamb for $35, the opening bid. His AAV is $50. The bot tells you that right there. I'm going to go to 36. Let's get in a bidding war with Uncle Buckets. All right, the current bid. Of course, I had an error there, so let's make sure we take that a little bit out. We splice that out. Okay. All right, so next up, Blistr bids nominates Ramondre Stevenson for $10. I'm going to pass on Ramondre. Let's see what the bots do. Boom, he jumps up to $19. Clueless Casey opens the bids on Kelsey for $20. I'm going to pass on that as well. Again, don't pay attention too much to the numbers here because this is off of an old sheet. It's more about what does the simulator actually do. So Silent Seth, he took a top tight end with the same emotion you show when folding laundry. He gets him. So nomination next, Tony Pollard, $20. I will pass on Tony Pollard. Let's see what the bots do. And you can see them running balanced. Ben, solid, is better than flashy, he says, and gets them for $28. Zay Flowers up next. I'll go $4 on Zay. Again, remembering that these numbers are a little bit different because it's running off an old spreadsheet just because this is a prototype. So you can see there's neat little feedback from some of the bots. Clueless Casey, confused face emoji, and passes. Trendy Trevor has a current bid of $9. Knew he was a riser before you did, he says, because he's bidding on trendy players, as he says. I will go to $10 on Zay. So Trendy Trevor, he wavers, passes with a dramatic sigh. Psycho Pete grins, pretends to bid, then shrugs. And I want him for $10. So it shows me my lineup here. Shows me how much money I've got left. I've got 121, 12 spots, and an average per player of $10. Saquon Barkley on the board, opening bid of $33. I will go to 34. Buckle up, it's about to get loud, it says. And I won him for $45. Okay, so let's just take a look, review my team so far. So let's take a look at what the bot can do in draft to tell you a little bit about how you're doing in draft. All right, so your team so far after 12 nominations shows who my players are. Saquon Barkley, 45, CeeDee Lamb, 51, T. Higgins, 18, Zay Flowers for 10. Shows me that I have $76 left, 11 roster spots left, just under $7 per. You secured 4 high upside starters, and you'll need to budget carefully for the rest of the way. Would you like a reminder or a budget tracker before you continue? Right? That's kind of interesting to see. Can you show me the other rosters? Again, you should be keeping track of all this yourself in your real drafts, but during the draft simulator, it will do all that for me. So we'll run through everybody else's team here after 12 nominations. It'll show us what's going on. Again, some of the stuff that it can do for you. Okay, so let's take a look. We can see everybody's teams here through all the 12 nominations and see what happens here. And then let's continue drafting. So again, in draft learning and analysis while you're drafting, Seiko, Pete, Jordan Love. Let's go $2 for Jordan Love. Bots are thinking. Clueless Casey, confused, Google's Jordan Love highlights, then passes. I want him for $4. So here we go. So we can see as things are going through. Mike Evans. Okay. There's a little comment there. Nice pick. We got the bidding and away you go. So you got a little bit of a feel for how the opening round of nominations go here. Let's ask the draft. Can you simulate the rest of the draft for all drafters? And so, I mean, if you just say you wanted to practice your first round and see what that looked like, you could do that and then have everybody sim. You could run through 10 rounds if you wanted to, and then get it to simulate the rest of the draft as well. So you can kind of play with this in whatever method you want to do. So it's just going to analyze here. It's going to take a couple seconds because it's going to run through everybody else's teams and the whole thing. And I just want to show you what you can do here at the end. This is where a lot of the learning takes place. You can ask it questions about your draft, about other drafters. It can do printable sheets for you. It can do lots of different things that are going to help you learn and reflect at the end of your draft so that you get ready for your next draft. So it's just thinking here. Takes a little bit of time. Again, it's going through everybody's drafts here. Okay, so it ran through the rest of the draft. Let's get some team rankings. So it's going to analyze everybody's teams, break them down for you, rank how you did compared to the rest of the draft. Right, so you can see some information here. Okay. So I'm just asking it to review my team now. Here's your full team. How do you think I did? Let's ask the bot to really break it down now. So it's just thinking here. It's going to run through the team. It's going to break down an analysis of how you did, and we'll ask it after to give us some hints for next time. Okay, so it says my overall ranking was first place, spent a 197. Again, I simulated your maximum budget. Staying legal under the $1 per slot rule. Good wide receiver core. We've got an anchor RB spending, areas to monitor, RB depth. Okay. Verdict and the whole thing, right? Tips for the next draft. So let's see what else it'll give us here as far as tips for our next draft. Here are some tailored, right? Knock down a tight end sooner. Again, ignore the numbers here because it's running off of an old sheet. Again, it's just to show you what the simulator can do. invest in at least one bench RB. Okay, again, we just simulated everything. Use your budget early, but not all of it. Watch for values. Okay, if you want a solid QB or tight end, you have to nominate them early. Okay, it gives you all of this type of stuff. And then look at it, can even challenge you. Challenge mode, you want to win a wide receiver under $25, those types of things. So there's a lot of learning that can take place here as well while you're going through the simulator. So we think it's a fantastic product. When this thing is released, it's going to have a link to our current AAVs and rankings. So the numbers and the players will all match up a lot better. Again, we're in the beta mode right now. I just wanted to show everybody how it actually works. As well, it does a lot of in-draft analysis. Okay, so it talks to you about how you're doing, what you need to improve, who you should target. You can put little settings in there, like it's mentioned previously. Do I want to set limits on receivers, for instance, and it'll tell me, hey, you're going over your limit. So you can do all of that stuff as well. And at the end, it'll analyze your draft, tell you how you did, tell you how you can improve. It can do all those things. And you can see, like, we went through a round really quick, right? So in about 30 minutes, you can get through a full draft. You can get the full analysis. You can print off pages. You can keep them. You can print off CSVs or spreadsheets, like Excel spreadsheets, and keep those things in your files. So you can go through things throughout the preseason here. We think this is going to be a super valuable tool for the novice, the casual drafter, and even the veteran drafters. I try different things on different builds and see what it looks like. The bots are programmed to go anywhere from 85% to 110 to 115% of the AAV. So that's also based on their personalities as well. You can create profiles if you want. You can ask it to create a profile. Maybe you have someone, let's create a profile for our next, I'll just show you here. Sorry, I should probably bring that back on. I'll share the screen. Sure. Profile for my next draft. I have a guy who will always spend more on Chiefs players. Can you ask me a couple of questions to create this profile for an opponent? Okay, so you can create opponents like, say, there's a guy who just spends lots of money on Chiefs players. Well, go ahead, create him and add him to your next draft. You can totally do that. Chiefs chaser. He's going to ask you a couple of quick questions. What's their personality like? They're a name chaser. For sure. Do they have any... what else we got here? So he's a name chaser, always over a little bit. You always spend over a little bit. He's reactive, and he always chants Chiefs, Chiefs, Chiefs. Okay, so they're going to create a profile for this guy now. Okay, so Chiefs Chucky, he's always chasing Kansas City Chiefs. He's willing to spend a little bit more. He always says Chiefs, Chiefs, Chiefs. Talks a little bit about it, right? And if that's who you want, then that's great. Now he can be in your draft. So you can do that pre-draft. You can set up guys who would be in your room and practice drafting against them. Okay, especially if it's guys you know from a live draft or from home leagues that you've had for a long time. So you can really customize this simulator to draft against specific people, random people. You can practice against anybody. You can practice different builds, nomination strategies, bidding strategies, all of those things. And it will be reflective. It will talk to you about how you've done. You can ask it questions about your particular draft. It's a real learning tool. That's what we wanted. So we started this whole podcast thing. We started this whole podcast thing about 40 years ago, or 14 years ago, 40 years ago. And we were the first website and the first podcast that specifically spoke to auction. And now 14 years later, we're trying to create something that's a first as well, because we can see that AI is really starting to move us in a particular direction. And we think we can utilize that to become better drafters. So if you're interested, head on over to the website, thefantasyfootballauction.com, and check out the membership area. In the membership area, you can pay $7.95 for just our spreadsheets, which we've offered for years now. That's our consensus rankings and actual AAVs, not AAVs that are contrived from ADP, but average auction values that are from actual drafts we put into our spreadsheets. Also, you get Blistr's tier sheets, and you get my tier sheets. It's actually my cheat sheet that I use live in draft. $7.95 gets you those sheets. If you want to add the AI draft simulator, the fantasy auction sniper, then it's an extra $10. So for $17.95 for the summer, you can have access to our sheets and to this draft simulator. It's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 Starbucks coffees, and you can get this for the summer. So we think you're really going to like it. We're really proud of it. We're really excited for it to launch in about 3 or 4 days here. So if you've already purchased it, thanks so much for purchasing it. And hopefully this helped you learn how to use it. If you're thinking about purchasing it, hopefully after watching how the bot works and what you can learn from it, you're going to be interested in purchasing it. And if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Twitter at Fantasy Auction, on Instagram at Fantasy Auction, even on TikTok at Fantasy Auction. So those are all different places that you can ask questions. If you have specific ideas or whatever the case may be, let me know. And we're really excited for this. So that's the end of our podcast for this week. Blistr and I are going to be off, but for most of next week, as we're going to be on our big annual golf trip. For listeners who have followed us for years, every year we go on this big golf trip, but we wanted to have something out for you about this simulator, and we wanted to have a podcast out for you before we leave tomorrow morning at 7:00. So you'll hear about a golf trip when we come back, probably on the weekend at some point. We'll be podcasting again. So we will see you then. And for the rest of you, you'll see you when it's springtime in the Rockies.